Welcome everyone to another episode, delayed hours because Ronan sucks. We're at Jupiter's CROCK. We're here, the final episode of Season 2 of Spartacus Vengeance. We're talking Wrath of the Gods. I'm joined today by Steve, also known as Spartacus.
I'm here.
It's late, Steve.
Super high energy.
It's real late. Why are we so late?
I don't know, Ronan, why are we so late?
Because fuck you both, that's why.
Because you had to talk to an old lady for 2.5 hours?
Because chasing a fucking ghost in the machine.
So yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. This is the final episode of the season. We only have 10 more episodes to go after tonight's. It's crazy. It feels like we should have a lot more episodes to see, but no, we've made it.
We would have a lot more episodes to see if we hadn't started watching multiples per session to accommodate someone else's work schedule.
Yeah. Ronan, I think you and Rachel should start a show together, and it will never air because you guys will be continually late. Just at one right after the other. I'm late, and it'll never air. You are like the new Rachel, Ronan. How does that make you feel?
Rachel Ronan.
Rachel.
I mean, I'm still cooler than you, so it's all good.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Off to a terrible start.
Alright, Wrath of the Gods, final episode. It's all been building to this. Spartacus, take it away.
Oh, god damn it. Alright, lady, make a decision in this poker hand. Anyways, the Spartacus people are trapped on the top
Spartacus
of
Spartacus people.
I was trying to take that lady's money in this game. Anyways,
Sounds very problematic.
Spartacus
a little
and his
domestic
troops...
violence.
That's what Ronan was doing to that
It's
old
quiet
lady
time
tonight.
Now. We're not talking about Ronan's old lady anymore. Spartacus on Mount Vesuvius, and they are quickly running out of supplies. We don't really know, or at least I don't think, how long it's been since the end of the previous episode. But it's been a minute. Like Spartacus and his people say they have picked the place clean, and they're quickly running out of food and supplies. But Spartacus delivers multiple speeches on top of Mount Vesuvius this episode to try to keep his people in line. But unfortunately, a group of guys, a group of like the German Agron people, they decide, fuck it, we can't do this anymore. We are going to go down this one mountain path and try to just make a break for it, or start pushing the Romans back. Basically, we refuse to just sit on this mountain and die. And so, of all of the people that go down there, it's like Lugo is the only person of note. It's like Nemetes, who sucks, and Saxa, who is the only German woman in the show, I think, who gets a name. And then 3 or 4 other just red shirts. They go down the mountain, and Spartacus hears about this, and for whatever reason, Spartacus decides, okay, well, we've got to go save them. Why? Lugo is super cool, but why does Spartacus need any of the rest of these people? I don't think he does, but he's the good guy. He's going to help anyway, and so he goes down the hill to save them. And so Ashur and the Egyptian and the Ashur forces there with a couple of Glaber's men, especially the Glaber's second in command, who is not Ashur, the one Roman guy who's been with Glaber for a while now. I don't know his name. I didn't know the last Glaber second in command either. But Ashur force, Glaber's Roman buddy, they are all fighting, and in the battle, or during the battle, Mira gets hit with an axe. One of the Ashur Force dudes throws an axe at Spartacus, but misses, and hits Mira just right in the collarbone. And so Spartacus grabs Mira, grabs all the survivors, and runs back up the hill.
Can I say something real quick about that?
Yeah, let me say 7-2 offsuit, bitches! Woohoo!
Nice. I'll have my my character clap for you because of that. Hold on, there you go. they actually went back and forth as to what they should do with Mira. And originally they said, well, we're going to have her survive into season 3. But Stephen DeKnight said, actually, we basically have to kill her now because no one would expect that this kind of like, I wouldn't call her a major character, but I mean, I guess she's one of the main characters.
She's
no one would
the
expect
love
it.
interest.
Yeah,
And
that's her.
kind of
Her
been at
name
this
is
point.
Love Interest. That's all she was.
Yeah. Did I can't remember. It's been a while already since I watched this because, of course, Ronan keeps fucking us. But does Onimaeus lose his
can
eyeball
rewatch it.
this episode or
No.
previous?
He
That was
lost
last
it.
episode.
He lost it. But that's the thing. I don't know that we actually brought it up last
We didn't.
episode. But,
Yeah, we didn't.
So,
That's
so
why I was
we're gonna circle back around to that in a minute. So let's wrap up Mira's story because Mira gets like 3 lines in this episode, and then she dies, and she dies while Spartacus is trying to save her. So she's got
Yeah.
another wound.
So do you think she should have
Spartacus-
stayed alive to the next season, though? That's the question I was trying to get to. Do you think that
No,
they should...
no one cares about the love
Yeah,
interest.
I was happy she died. I was like, she's annoying.
I don't care if she died or not. It was just like there was nothing for her character to do anymore.
Other than
And
die.
so, yeah, it was her time. But Spartacus, wants to save her. He tells Nasir to heat a sword so he could, cauterize the wound, but it's too late. Mira has bled out, and Spartacus turns around and just starts beating the ever-living shit out of Nemetes. And he asks Nemetes, was it worth it? Was it worth her life for you to try to escape? And Nemetes says, you're the mad fuck that's led us all to our death. And that gives Spartacus pause, because he knows
He's
that,
not wrong.
Yeah, Nemetes is right. Spartacus led them up the hill to Mount Vesuvius, where they are now all going to starve to death. So Spartacus tries to deliver a speech to get everyone back to focusing, and then out comes Onimaeus. And Onimaeus, like we said before, we didn't mention it last episode, but Onimaeus had a fight with the Egyptian as Spartacus was being chased through like the tunnels of this temple that came out behind Vesuvius. And Onimaeus fights the Egyptian, and the Egyptian, and again, this is last episode, the Egyptian has these little daggers, and he goes to stab Onimaeus in the head, and Onimaeus just puts his hand up, and so the dagger goes through Onimaeus' palm, and then the Egyptian just continues to push and like basically fucking staples Onimaeus' hand to his head. And so
Shows you how
Gannicus...
badass the Egyptian is, because
The
they've already
Egyptian is
established how
awesome.
amazing Onimaeus is.
Yeah. The Egyptian has no trouble with anyone he fights until he starts getting double teamed. Spoilers for later in the episode. So Onimaeus is now, so at last episode, Onimaeus lost an eye, Gannicus carried him up the hill, and
He was
now
supposed to lose an
Onimaeus...
arm. That's why I was mentioning it. They said that they were actually going to have the Egyptian chop his whole arm off, and he was going to be one-armed Onimaeus. But then they decided just to go with the eye because it looked cooler with the makeup.
He does look super fucking cool. So he walks out, Onimaeus walks out from the crowd, missing an eye. He has these like giant row of stitches going from like his cheek to like the middle of his forehead to seal up this massive eye wound that he had. And he comes out and he throws his support behind Spartacus. And so Spartacus plus Onimaeus kind of get everyone back on the path, or not on the path, gets everyone back on the same page. There is one good line from Nemetes, because he sees Spartacus like doing what he can to kind of lay Mira to rest. So Spartacus wraps Mira in his cloak, and then he finds some vines scattered around Vesuvius and like wraps her body in it. And Nemetes says, well, we're all going to die. Lucky us. Lucky us, we'll all be dead before she becomes overly ripe. Like, Nemetes gives no fucks. Like, he is an asshole, but that was a good line. I appreciated that. We also see Alithia and Xena. They are going to Vesuvius because Alithia wants this to be done. Alithia and Glaber are back in love, and Alithia wants to go and convince Glaber, like, look, just fucking go kill Spartacus now, You've been waiting for a long time. Just go get him, because I don't want my baby to be born in Capua. I want my baby, your baby, the baby that's totally your baby, Glaber. I want this baby to be born in Rome. And so Alithia is going to Vesuvius to make this known, and Xena's with her, and Alithia's like, when I go to Rome, Xena, you're my best friend. You're going to come with me. We're going to find you a new husband. You can be a wife again. You're going to fucking love it. Everything's going to be all sunshine and rainbows and ponies. And Xena's like, actually, your husband gave me to Ashur. And Alithia is not on board with this, and so she and Xena hatch a plan, which we're going to see soon, because they are about to arrive in at the this temple that Spartacus used to be in,
and
where
the
Glaber
season's
is now
about
based.
over.
Yeah. They're going to arrive there soon, and we see Ashur, and Ashur is already planning for his future. And
House of
says,
Ashur.
Yes, the House of Ashur. Ashur is planning for the House of Ashur. He says he's going to take over Batiatus' ludus, and I am going to, have the greatest gladiators in all the land. And Ashur Force, I would have all of you join the House of Ashur as my first gladiators. All I need you to do is recite an oath to me. But before he can get to the part about the oath, Xena and Alithia come up. And so Alithia goes to talk to Glaber. Xena goes to talk to Ashur. She's not happy about it, but she's got to play along right now. And Ashur tells her, oh, I'm so glad to see you. I've missed your touch. He's being super mega creepy Ashur. Meanwhile, Alithia is in this temple talking to Glaber. And Alithia is telling Glaber, look, this baby is coming. It's coming soon. We need to get to Rome, so kill Spartacus now. And so Glaber says, well, we can't. Spartacus has the high ground. We can't take the mountain without losing a shitload of people. And Alithia's like, but you can take it, right? Implying that Alithia is willing to sacrifice a shitload of Roman soldiers if it gets her home like a couple of days faster. And Glaber, because, Alithia's making eyes at him, he's like, you know what, Alithia, everything you say is correct, my darling wife. So yeah, I'm going to throw a shitload of people up the mountain. They're all going to die, but you and me, we're going to be good. We're going to go to Rome, and we're going to have our baby in Rome. And Alithia is super happy. She's about to leave, but then she hatches her plan. The plan that she made with Xena. She pulls out Seppius's weird snake bracelet and gives it to Glaber and tells Glaber, Seppia tried to kill you because Ashur gave this to her. This was all part of Ashur's plan to kill you. And Glaber, to his credit, is like, well, that's fucking dumb.
Stupid. Yeah, that's
fucking
stupid.
dumb. like Ashur's fortunes are tied to my own. Why would he try to kill me? And Alithia's just like, I
don't know.
He's sneaky bastard. He's a snake. And Glaber's like, yeah, okay,
I
that
like
makes
the
sense.
cut of your jib.
I think Alithia tries to pitch the idea that when Verinius showed up, Ashur was going to try to get rid of Glaber to try to buddy up to Verinius, but mostly she's just like, Ashur's a bad person. He was going to double cross you, and Glaber's like, okay. And so Glaber is going to get rid of Ashur. But when Alithia's walking away, thinking she has protected her friend Xena, Glaber's like, actually, there's probably someone else we should kill too. We have no more use for Xena. Xena knows too much. And so both of them, both Alithia and Glaber, essentially have to kill, their most useful person at this point. I won't say friend, but Xena is
Frenemy.
The most useful person to Alithia. Ashur is the most useful person to Glaber, and they both have to die. So I want to pause here for a second. Prior to Alithia telling Glaber not to trust Ashur, do you think Glaber was actually going to honor his promise to Ashur and free him and give him the ludus and give him Xena?
I think so.
I think he would. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
He's a man of
we're
his
on the
word.
same page. Yeah, because I was thinking about that, and I don't know that he's a man of his word, but I think, like, Ashur has, like, earned a place of respect with Glaber, because in the previous episode, when they attacked the temple, Glaber, completely unprompted, tells Ashur, I'm going to have you by my side, so you can be in a place of honor when we take Spartacus, because, you helped make this happen. Like, Glaber didn't have to do that, it's just Ashur had kind of earned a place here. And so, yeah, I agree. I think Glaber was going to honor his promise to Ashur. Now, do you think he was going to let Xena live, or was Xena going to have to go the whole time?
I think she had to go.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think Ashur was probably going to get his freedom and probably going to get the Ludus.
But he was going to give her to Ashur, though, right? So maybe he figured that Ashur would just keep her in line.
I don't know. Xena feels like a hell of a loose end.
Yeah, I mean, she's dangerous.
I don't know. I mean, we all at least agree that Ashur was going to get his freedom and the Ludus. Xena is a maybe. Anyway, so Alithia comes out and kind of winks at Xena like, haha, the plan's in place. And so Xena's like, oh, I'm going to miss you so much, Ashur, and like legitimately kisses him to kind of fuck with him. And Ashur is like, fuck yeah, I got everything that I want. Everything is awesome right now. It'd be a shame if someone called me on my bullshit. And so out comes Glaber, who throws the snake bracelet at Ashur's feet, and Ashur's like, okay,
rightly confused. Yeah,
what does this mean? I don't know what any of this means. And so
he should have recognized that immediately, though. Like, Ashur should have understood what was happening right there, because they've established him as a very intelligent person. He took that bracelet. He knows what that bracelet belongs to.
Yeah, but I agree with that, but at the same time, this was actually like the one case where Glaber was innocent of what he was accused of. So I think that's the part that's fucking with him. It's like, okay, like, because he even says to Glaber, it's like, yeah,
like,
I took this bracelet, but like I thought I had your permission to like loot these bodies. And then Glaber says, okay, well, let's talk about you giving this to Sepia. And Ashur's like, I've never talked to her. And so they're just at an impasse now. Like, Ashur, for once in his fucking life, is telling the absolute fucking truth. But Glaber is not having it.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Ashur's like, you know what? It's unfortunate this has happened, but how about me and the Ashur force just leave before a fight breaks out? And Glaber says, Ashur force, how about you become the Glaber force, and I will give you a bunch of gold and a bunch of land. And so the Glaber force turns on Ashur, and Ashur is basically just captured now. And again, like, it's weird seeing Ashur in an instance where, like, he didn't do the wrong thing that he's accused of. Like, someone has finally, like, pulled one on Ashur. It's like he doesn't know what to do with it. But he even tells Glaber, it's like, look, I made a vow to you, and I have not broken it. But Glaber tells him, okay, well, let's test that. And so, what is the test that Ashur has to do? Well, Ashur is instructed to go up Mount Vesuvius alone and tell all of the slaves that if they surrender, they will be allowed to live. They will be re-enslaved, but they will have their lives. And anyone who doesn't take this deal, when the Romans come, if you are captured alive, you are going to be crucified. You will be tortured to death on the cross. And the only person that doesn't get a choice in this is Spartacus. Like, you have to hand Spartacus over for his death in order to take this deal. And Nemetes shows up and he says, I don't want to die today. And Ashur gets a little smirk on his face, like, oh yeah, all these fuckers are going to turn against Spartacus. But then Nemetes follows up and says, but if I'm going to die, I'm going to do it as a free man. So everyone is on Team Spartacus at this point. So Ashur's like, Okay. I'm just going to nonchalantly walk back down this mountain. It's been nice chatting with you, fellow gladiators.
I'm
It's
just
been
gonna,
nice to
turn
see
around
you.
now and get out of here as quick as I can.
And then Ashur
Damn it.
yells, Crixus yells, Ashur. And Ashur gets this look on his face like,
That great
God
look.
damn it.
For a second, he thought he had it. He thought he had it for a second. He was like, I can't believe this. They're not going to kill me. Then Crixus does the Crixus play, of course. That look of Ashur, he just kind of goes this to himself. Damn it. Fuck.
Yep. And so Crixus says, you know what? I'm not done with you yet, but it's about time that we settled our business. And Ashur tries multiple ways to weasel out of this. And first he's like,
a valiant effort.
I have to go back down the mountain and give Glabber your response. And Crixus says, your head would serve.
I love that.
Your head would tell Glabber everything that he needs to know. And Ashur goes,
Spartacus?
Spartacus, help? And Spartacus is like, the man makes a point. And so Spartacus is not going to help Glabber. This whole scene is amazing.
It's awesome.
So Spartacus is not going to stop this fight, and so Ashur says, well, it's not fair. You're picking on an unarmed man. So Crixus says, give Ashur a sword. That didn't work either. Well, I'm injured because at the beginning of the episode, when Nemetes and his bros tried to escape the mountain, I got shot in the arm with an arrow, so I'm grievously injured. I can't. It would be dishonorable for you to fight me. And Crixus is like, fuck honor! And he goes to swing at Ashur, but Navia stops him. Navia, I don't remember this actress's name, but this scene right here, she is so fucking good in it. She is crying. She is filled with both like sadness and an incredible amount of rage. And she tells Ashur, like, Ashur's right. It would be dishonorable for you to kill him. I'm not going to put that on you. I'm going to fight him. No one has been hurt more by him. No one has more of a claim on his fucking life than me. And so Crixus begrudgingly steps aside to let Navia fight Ashur. And at first,
it's all been leading to this, right? Because he's been training her all season long.
Yep. Navia is on her way to knowing how to just to swing a sword, and so she fights Ashur. And at the beginning, Ashur is just toying with her. She has no chance against him.
Ashur pretty much just beats the shit out of her for pretty much the whole fight. She gets in one or two licks, but by and large, Ashur just destroys her.
Ashur.
Stephen DeKnight
Right.
actually said that his favorite acting from Manu Bennett was actually just his reaction shots to watching like Navia basically lose against Ashur, because he's like, the love of my life's gonna die. Like Ashur is going to kill her.
There are multiple times during this fight where Navia is losing, and at first Spartacus is going to step in and stop this, and Crixus stops Spartacus like, no, Navia has to do this. But then later on,
does she though?
Later on, even Crixus is like, I can't watch this anymore. Like, Navia, let me help. And Navia screams at him like, no, he is fucking mine. So they battle, and Ashur is winning easily. But then he does the thing all villains do. He starts monologuing, and he tells
Insert
Navia,
scene from The Invincibles right here.
Yep.
You sly dog, you got me monologuing.
That's exactly what happens, because Ashur's like, I may die today. Like, I know you're not going to let me off this mountain, but at least I died knowing that I basically fucked over Crixus one last time.
He says, I take Crixus's bitch to the afterlife with me. I'm like, yo, my God.
And while he is saying this, he's got the sword to Navia's neck. And Navia uses the opportunity while Ashur is talking to Crixus to elbow him in the nuts, grab a sword out the ground, and slice him in the dick. And Ashur falls.
Move, Navia.
Ashur falls to the ground. He's he's holding his shattered dick with one hand while trying to stop Navia from attacking him with the other, but he fails and Navia slices him across the neck, but he's not dead yet. He gets one last chance to just kind of twist the knife, and he tells Navia, all of the terrible things that I did to you, all the terrible things that I caused, none of this, you killing me is not going to fix it. And Navia says, you know what, you're right, but it's a fucking start, and she slices his head off. Takes 3 swings, but she slices Ashur's head clean the fuck off his shoulders, and then she and Crixus embrace, and she repeats a line that he said to her early on. She says, you were right. It is hard to chop a man's head off with one swing,
Yeah.
and Crixus just says, then I will teach you, and this scene is awesome.
Because I think that was in
I
season
can't say
1 that he
enough
told her that.
good
Yeah, that
things
was
about
season
this.
1.
Yeah, it's so cool, and it's one of those things where it's like, it would have been great to see Crixus just fuck this guy up, but it's great that they had Navia do it. And Stephen DeKnight said that was the plan from the middle of season 1. He said that he was always going to have her kill Ashur at some point down the road for, you know, what Ashur did to her and stuff. So, but execution to a T, perfection.
This is a great scene. I mean, I think we're gonna miss Ashur going forward because he's such a
Yeah.
great fucking villain. And anyways, that's the end of Ashur. And so Spartacus picks 2 guys to roll Ashur's head down the hill. Apparently, that was a 2-person job. And then Spartacus, or basically the gladiators, you know, they've got their little bit of success, but then they're like, fuck, we're still going to die up here. Like, nothing's actually changed. Glaber is just going to wait us out, and when we are... They don't know that Alithia has told Glaber to attack now. They think that Glaber is going to wait them out. But someone makes the comment, because Mira's body has been wrapped in vines. Someone says, too bad there's not enough vines for all of us. And Spartacus goes, about that. And so Spartacus enacts this plan. Now, earlier in the episode, he and Gannicus had this, like, really cool bonding moment where Gannicus tells Spartacus, you know, I thought you were just a fucking lucky idiot, but I see now that, like this
Clever strategy.
Bold strategy is why you're still alive. And Spartacus says, the only things that I have done are things that the Romans don't expect. Like, that's it. They didn't expect us to attack the arena. They didn't expect any of this. But at this point, like, I don't have a thing that's unexpected. Like, they know we're up here. We have no way down, and they know that. Like, there is no bold strategy that I have. And Gannicus tells him, well, you know what? If I'm going to die, at least I'll die among brothers. And they shake hands. Gannicus and Spartacus are buddies now. So, a little bit later now, Navia has killed Ashur, and suddenly Spartacus does have an idea for a bold strategy. And that strategy is, he's going to take all of the vines on the mountain and create rope with them. And there's enough rope for 4 people, and so he says, Agron, Crixus, Gannicus, you're with me. And so with these ropes, these 4 guys just scale down the mountain, and Spartacus just fucking leaps on the back of this guy, and luckily doesn't shatter his goddamn ankles. But this is going to
Superhero land.
eventually.
Hold on,
Sorry, go
pause,
ahead.
because this is a moment here. We're gonna see what happens at this hand.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Alright,
Make your
okay,
decision,
okay.
Steve. Oh shit. Okay. Here we
I mean,
go.
I'm gonna lose, but I've got.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
I've got an okay.
7-2 offsuit, baby.
I think you won. Yeah, you got 3 of a kind.
Thank you. Go
But
ahead.
you
Continue.
didn't go all in at the beginning.
I did. I've been
failed.
all in the whole
Failed.
time.
Lied.
You guys have been
Anyways,
playing back and forth.
So Spartacus and Agron and Crixus and Gannicus they've scaled the mountain, and they're beginning their attack on Glaber's forces. But while this is going on, Alithia and Xena have gone back to the Ludus.
This is where the things get dark.
Yeah,
Consider that for a moment.
a little dark, a little weird. So I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap up their story because they don't actually interact with Glabber or Spartacus or anyone else the rest of this episode. Xena is like standing like kind of at the like on a balcony basically overlooking the giant cliff that the Ludus has been built on. And so Xena is thanking Alithia. Oh, Alithia, you're such a good friend. You've freed me from Ashur's grasp. You're wonderful, wonderful friend. I can't say enough good things about you. And Alithia's like, yes, you're my good friend too. And when Xena's back is turned,
Goes in to push.
Alithia is walking in to push Xena over this balcony. But on her way there, I didn't actually look at my hand. Oh, that's good. Come on.
Jesus.
Come on, good hand. While she is heading off towards Xena, her water breaks. And she's like, something is wrong. Like, it's too early for this baby to come. And Xena's like, oh, he got a fucking straight on the river. Son of a bitch.
That hurts.
See, this is what happens. You guys get me talking, and then I can't pay attention.
That's the plan. He's
Xena,
figured this out, Ronan.
Xena says it's a sign from the gods. The baby must be born within the walls of the Ludus. And so they take Alithia to a bed. They're trying to calm her. And Alithia says the exact opposite. It's like, something is wrong. This baby does not want to be born in this house of shit and blood and death and whatnot. Like, the baby is clawing at me. And Xena's like, I'm gonna go get you some drugs so that you don't feel any pain. I'm going to go get you some drugs so you don't feel any pain. What she
I'm going to kill all the slaves.
I'm going to murder everyone here. And then Xena comes back to Alithia. Xena kills the last slave girl that was attending to Alithia. And Xena's covered in blood. And Alithia's like, what the fuck? Like, I thought we were friends. And Xena's like, oh yes, the best friends.
I love her scream, by the way. Just,
yeah.
Viva Bianca has a great scream.
She has a great everything.
Yes.
Xena
speaking
says,
of her, real quick, just another fun fact, listening to the audio commentary of this episode. So, at the very beginning of this season, she's been pregnant from, like, the first episode of this season. But you couldn't really tell early on. And originally they wanted her much more pregnant from the very beginning. But the Starz executive said, no, people won't think she's sexy anymore if she's got a huge, like, 8-month, belly. And so that's why she doesn't get really...
sexist.
Yeah, that's why she doesn't get fully pregnant till the very end of the season.
Well, at least we know because of the pregnancy, it's been roughly 9 months.
Yeah, I was about to say
died.
that gives us a time frame because that was something that bothered us in season 1. Is how fucking long does season 1 actually last? And we know how long season 2 lasts. It takes about 9 months.
Yep.
So we know that at least.
So Alithia is, telling Xena, like, I thought we were friends, why are you killing me? And Xena says, we are friends. And so Alithia replies, okay, but then why are you killing me and my baby? And Xena's like, your baby? You were just a vessel. Like, it was always the plan for you to bring a baby into the house of Badiatus, but that's my fucking kid and I'm taking it. And so we don't see it. We don't see it, but presumably Xena cuts the baby out of Alithia's stomach and then walks to the edge of the cliff. And Alithia is like crawling on the ground, leaving this giant bloody trail behind her, just screaming Lucretia at the top of her lungs to try to stop this. And Xena gets to the edge and she says, Quintus and I always wanted a son. And then she jumps off the cliff and kills herself.
She doesn't even jump. She just falls. She just like leans backwards and falls.
All right. Well, she very delicately places herself into the air on the other side of the cliff, and she falls down and she fucking dies. She falls off the cliff with the goddamn baby. They are dead. And then Alithia just kind of falls over and dies as well. So
awesome. So awesome. Because she's creating a family with Badiatus in the afterlife. Yes. That's the whole plan.
This shows just the mindset Romans, because Lucretia has enslaved people, she has tortured people, she has forced people to be sexually assaulted. She is responsible for so much death and tragedy in this show, and she still thinks she's going to go to the good side of the afterlife and live happily ever after with her husband.
Sounds very Christian.
The thought that maybe she's going to the bad place just never pops into her head. So, question I have for you
they
guys.
they didn't think of things in those terms back then.
All right,
Because there wasn't like technically a hell where bad people went. But continue.
Neat. I went on my chips back. Anyways, Xena thinks she is going to some sort of reward where she's going to get to live happily ever after with Badiatus. Whatever afterlife she goes to, she's certainly not expecting it to be a bad place or a bad thing. So Xena, Alithia, pretty much everyone back to the Ludus is dead.
Now that interesting thing about Alithia, on the commentary, Viva Bianca said she was incredibly pissed off during that scene because they made her reshoot it. So originally when she shot that scene, she was basically standing and running over to Lucretia, and so she went through all the emotions that she's going through, right, that actors get into to try to get into character, and then she had to come back months later and reshoot it all because
7-2 offsuit, baby.
Yes, because Rob Tappert was like, wait a minute, she just had the baby cut out of her. She wouldn't be able to be up on her feet running out to go see her. She's got to be crawling in pain. So they had Viva Bianca come back and reshoot the entire thing again.
And it worked. It was
Worth
great.
it.
I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. I kind of agree with him. I think it would be very off-putting if she's
just
running
running.
full speed
Yeah.
with her intestines hanging out.
Have we all won
but-
with 7-2 offsuits tonight? I feel like we have.
I think
Maybe.
so.
Yeah.
I think we have. So
But
a question, because this is something we've been asking, here and there throughout
I swear to
season 2.
God, if you steal my fucking question that I've been trying to ask 4 goddamn times while you're trying to interrupt me. But continue with the question. I bet it's about Xena and whether or not she's actually crazy.
Yes, fuck you. I'm taking it.
Piece of
I'm
shit!
taking
I've
it.
been trying to ask that question for 5 fucking minutes, and you assholes won't shut up!
You need to be more assertive, because now I'm taking it back. I'm taking
Well,
the question.
Ronan asked the goddamn question.
I mean, do you want to
Anytime
ask it,
today.
Steve? I mean, you're
Anytime
upset.
today.
You're
Like, just
so
spit it
upset.
out
Would
whenever
you
you're ready.
Do you want to ask it, Steve? Do you?
Hey, Matt, do you think Xena was crazy the whole time?
What do you mean by crazy
Take
the
your
whole
time.
time? Like, are you talking from
Don't
season
play
1?
that game with us.
Well, no.
You know
Are you
exactly
talking
what he
like
means.
from season 1? Like this was the grand plan
No,
the whole
I'm
time,
just
or just in
talking-
season
no,
2?
you fool.
No, I'm talking about season 2 because she
Okay.
starts the episode. She starts the season and she's acting just batshit crazy.
Yes.
But then soon after that, it appears like it's just a plot with Ashur. And then in this last episode, she goes off the deep end again and indicates it was always her plan to cut out Alithia's baby and kill herself.
Right,
So, like,
but did
was-
she
was
think? But did she think Alithia was going to get pregnant, and that was the plan back in season 1 when she set up this whole "I'm actually going to have you fuck Spartacus" and all that
that's
stuff?
not what I'm asking. I'm just talking about season 2.
Fine, season 2, yeah, she's crazy. There you go.
Riveting. Thank you for your contributions.
What do you want from me? I'm trying to get context.
No, like...
Well, you gotta contribute to the content.
Xena started off being crazy
Yes.
in just episode 2, then it looked like a plot with Ashur, and now she's back to crazy. So, like, was she ever crazy? Did she only go... Was it a plot from the beginning, and then she actually went crazy at the end? Has it always been a mix of crazy and a plot with Ashur? Like, that's the one thing that I don't really get about season 2 is what the fuck was going on with Xena? Was she nuts, or was it a plot that got out of hand? Little column A, little column B.
I think in the audio commentary they say she was crazy. Like she wanted to be with Badiatus, and she wanted a baby, and that was like the craziness was leading to the schemes that she was trying to do. I think she got thrown off with all the Ashur stuff. I don't think she was planning to have to be assaulted by Ashur constantly for all of this. But I think from the very beginning, I mean, look what happened. Badiatus was murdered in front of her. She was living like crazy homeless woman in this thing, probably eating rats and bugs. I think she was fucked up from the end of the season 1.
See, my take on it, I don't think she was crazy. Not in the sense that, like, you know, she was genuinely mentally fucked up. And, like, I don't think it was, like, the minute, like, that she, like, Ashur stitched her up, I don't think she started making this plot, obviously. But, once she kind of realized, okay, yeah, like Glaber and Alithia are here, once she realized she was pregnant, I think that's when the plan started to come together. Well, okay, this is a sign. This baby has to be for me and Badiatus. I don't think she ever really genuinely lost her mind or ever really went. I know you said, like, I think they said in the commentary she did, but I don't really think that she did. I think she was just playing the long con the whole time.
Well, do you think this comes back to? Do you think she actually believed that she was blessed by the gods? Because if she's like, this is the gods, it's not her just claiming it so that she has some sort of protection or whatever from Glaber. But if she's like, the gods bless this, if she believes that the gods are actually doing this, that could be part of the craziness. You know,
I don't know if she started out genuinely crazy. I don't know if she started out genuinely believing in gods and whatnot. But there is a scene in one of the previous episodes, one of the recent previous episodes. It's when Alithia's kidnapped, and Xena is telling Ashur, like, you have to go and save Alithia, and Ashur's like, hey, I'm doing all I can. I can't find anyone. And then Xena says, I'm going to go, like, invoke the gods. At that point, there is no plot. She's not doing this with Ashur. She was going to go. She thought she could go and talk to the gods, like, legitimately at that point, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see both of your points of view for sure.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's a good point. It's fair enough.
Now, here's an interesting point. Stephen DeKnight said that they were actually, when they were first conceiving the show, debating whether or not to make the gods an actual thing in the show. Like, you would actually see representations of, like, Zeus and Hera, like, all of those sort of god-type things. Would you have been interested in seeing anything like that at all? Actual, real gods?
No, absolutely not.
But they go, like, with Spartacus, they go the route of making him into, like, this really early atheist-style character. Like, you know, oh no, gods are bull. The historical Spartacus, like, you know, was able to amass, like, you know, the mass following that he had because everyone believed that he had the goddess Dionysus on his side. Like, you know, his like, I mentioned this when we were talking about season 1. His wife character, like, it's not known historically if she was actually his wife
character.
Well, like it's not known if historically she was his wife.
She has a name, Ronan.
It's not known if historically this character was his wife or not, but he had a priestess by his side who was saying, like, you were blessed to do terrible and great things, like saw a vision of a serpent around his head while he was sleeping. But she was the priestess who was supposedly talking to the goddess Dionysus, and that's how he was able to amass his mass following, because people thought he was literally, like, you know, the goddess's chosen vessel, and all of that, like, that's not brought up once in this show, never once. So, like, I can see why they would want to, you know, maybe try and have some sort of godly representations in the show, but they just cut all of that shit out. Because, yeah, that was a big fucking part of his ability to, like, recruit soldiers, was they thought that he had the gods on his side.
I'm glad that they didn't actually put gods in the show, but I think if you wanted to watch the show and think that gods actually exist, like, there's enough weirdness in the show that it's either, like, extreme coincidence or there is something supernatural going on. I think you could go with that. Like, all of Sura's visions come true. Like, she is predicting the goddamn future, and it constantly happens about Spartacus's going to suffer at the foot of the red serpent or whatever.
And she believes in the gods very strong.
Yeah,
Yeah, she does.
The
yeah.
rain just so happens to come during the gladiator games that are supposed to summon rain, and it happens just as Spartacus is killing the shadow of death. So I'm glad the gods aren't physically present in the show, but if you wanted to watch this series and assume that they're there in the background, I think there's enough for you to work with.
Yeah, you didn't want a god of war, essentially. You just wanted, hey, this is a realistic, grounded thing. People just talk about religion, like real life sort of stuff.
Yep, absolutely. So anyways, that's Xena and Alethea storyline wrapped up. Any final thoughts on Xena and Alethea?
No. It got. It's done as a joke. Oh yeah, this is where it gets dark. That's probably the darkest shit that happens in. I don't know if I'd go on to say the entirety of the series of Spartacus, but it's definitely the darkest shit that happens in season 2. I don't know. Do you guys think? Where would you rate this on the scale of all the bad shit we've seen happen in this show? Is that where would you rank this?
I don't know, man.
There's
There's a lot of crucifixions in this show.
There's a lot of
a lot more in the next
assault.
season.
Ashur does a lot of bad assaulting of people too, just this season. I think it's hard to sort of compare. I'm going to cut out a baby and go live in the afterlife with my dead husband with it. I don't know. It is definitely dark. For sure. Yeah, I agree with you 100% there.
All right. Well, Xena and Alethea are dead, so let's move on. Let's get back to Spartacus. Spartacus, Agron, Crixus, and Gannicus. They have killed a bunch of Romans that were kind of protecting the mountain path, and they are taking the Romans' catapults, shooting flaming balls of something. They've turned the catapults onto the temple that Glaber is in, and Glaber sees this. Glaber has not been able to sleep, and so Glaber is just outside thinking of all of the glory and the fame and how he's going to rise in the Senate.
How he's gonna hate fuck Spartacus.
He's gonna hate fuck Spartacus. Man, I am gonna go back to the Senate and I'm gonna be so fucking awesome. Is shit on fire out there? Oh god, the fire's coming towards us. And so Glaber tells the Romans to wake up. It's time to go and fucking fight. And so Glaber takes his whole goddamn army out towards the four people that Spartacus has. Spartacus, Crixus, Agron, and Gannicus. And Gannicus is fucking awesome. He's like, ha ha ha, glorious death. Gannicus is ready to fight this entire fucking army. And he is awesome. But when Glaber says, attack Spartacus, here come all the rest of the gladiators down the mountain. And so they converge. You got Spartacus and his people over here, gladiators on the other side, and Glaber in the middle. Classic pincer maneuver. And so everyone just starts fighting. And there aren't many fights of note except for Gannicus and Oenomaus versus the Egyptian. And so Oenomaus has this awesome line where he sees the Egyptian, he's like, I owe you pain. You can tell that it's been a long time since Oenomaus lost a fight, and he is fucking pissed. He wants to go and fight the Egyptian, and so
with no depth perception, no less.
With no depth perception. But one-eyed Oenomaus and Gannicus are taking the fight to the Egyptian, who still, for the most part, continues to hold his own. And so they're fighting, the Egyptian's throwing them around, but ultimately the Egyptian stabs Oenomaus in the chest, and Gannicus
he's trying to protect Gannicus, right?
Yeah, they're fighting together. They're trying to support each other. Gannicus gets tossed around, and Oenomaus gets stabbed through the chest. And so you hear Gannicus yell Oenomaus, and he runs up and hits the Egyptian with a goddamn Owen Hart enziguri, and then when the Egyptian rolls out of the way, Gannicus like jumps after him and just
Clonk in the head.
brings the sword down into his fucking skull, and so the Egyptian is dead. Gannicus has killed him, and then Gannicus runs over to Oenomaus, and Oenomaus tells him, I go to my wife's arms. We will greet you in the afterlife. And he gets this giant smile on his face, and he says, my brother. And then he dies. But he dies having made peace with Gannicus in his final moments. I cry at this scene
So
every
sad.
fucking time.
It's so sad. I don't like. Oh man. Oh, so
That
good though.
smile. It's like, I will greet you in the afterlife, my brother. And as the words "my brother" are coming out, he gets this just giant. Have we ever seen Oenomaus smile in this series? He gets this incredible
He smiles in the prequel.
smile. I don't remember that. I think you're lying to me. Well, he smiles as he's making peace with Gannicus and also dying, and I cry every single time I watch this scene. But at least, Gannicus is like, he gets his piece. Everything is all right in the world with Gannicus. Meanwhile, Spartacus is pushing inward into the temple, so he's fighting both Glaber and Glaber's second in command. And the second in command guy, Spartacus just grabs his head and smashes it repeatedly into the stone pillar. So he's dead. And then he goes and fights Glaber. And so of course, he stabs Glaber in the chest, and we're at a point in the series where that starts being fatal again, and so Glaber is dying. Glaber knows he is lost, and Spartacus just starts hitting Glaber with these quotes, all of these callbacks to their time in the past, all their previous conversations, and Spartacus is like, finally the Roman learns his place on his knees, and Glaber is on his knees. He's got a new hole in his chest that wasn't there a few minutes ago. His face is bloated and red, and blood is coming out of his mouth, and he's got this raspy voice, and he tells Spartacus, you know what, when I die, they're going to send legions after me, and eventually you are going to die. And Spartacus says, maybe, but not today. And he lifts the sword over his head, and he stabs Glaber in the mouth. The sword goes all the way down Glaber's mouth until just the fucking hilt is sticking out, and Spartacus pulls it out. Glaber is basically puking up blood. Glaber falls down. Glaber is dead, and everyone celebrates because vengeance has been had. They have beaten their first group of actual the Romans that are the first serious threat to them. And then so he shakes Agron's hand, everyone's buddies. He and Gannicus kind of nod at each other, and then Crixus comes up to him, and they do the bro forearm handshake. And Spartacus tells Crixus, now we will become an army. And Crixus gets this look on his face fucking finally. Because back in episode 1, that was the disconnect between Spartacus and Crixus. Spartacus, if he had to choose between fucking with Rome and freeing slaves, he would choose free slaves. Meanwhile, Crixus wanted to fuck with Rome. He was okay with freeing slaves, but only if they were slaves that could fight. And now Spartacus is telling him, you and I are on the same page now. We are going to become an army, and we are going to fuck Rome right in the ass. And Crixus gets this serious look on his face, and he just pumps his fist in the air "Rah!" And that is how this amazing season ends.
Ronan, your thoughts?
I'll just a little bit of a Oh shit! No, cancel. So, I'll give you what happened in season 2 historically that we know of. So the gladiators get out of the villa, they raid the surrounding countryside, they free some slaves, and then they make a camp on Vesuvius, and eventually the Romans get tired of his shit, and they send a know-nothing, a praetor who has no name significance. He's completely forgotten to history, except for the fact that he was beaten by Spartacus, named Claudius Glaber, to fight him. It's not even known if Spartacus killed him. It was just known that Glaber's they
in my
went
head
there.
canon, Spartacus killed him.
Well, that makes it valid, Steve. In case you didn't know that.
It does.
But so, Glaber gets there, and because the gladiators, their camp is on Vesuvius. Glaber doesn't have to chase them up there like we see in the show. That's just where they're hiding out at, because there were only a couple of roads that gave access to it. Glaber didn't have an actual real standing army that was sent with them, because at this point Rome had 3 or 4 different wars going on, and they did not treat slave rebellions with any seriousness whatsoever. So Glaber had to form an army on his way down there. Basically new recruit, not full-on legionnaires. So they get to the mountain, and they do what Glaber did in the show. They just kind of, okay, well, there's only 4 paths. We're just going to set guys here and, make sure they can't come down, and we'll starve them out. Not a brave strategy, not a strategy full of glory, but, it would have worked. But, so, historically speaking, it is known that Vesuvius is not a sheer mountain. Where it's straight vertical walls, which is exactly how they depict it in the show, where you have to rappel down vertically. Historically, even currently, the way it is now, it is it's a steep slope, but it's a slope, and that's how they use the grapevines. They take a bunch of grapevines and they take one of the slope sites the Romans aren't watching. And they make these long rope lines that they use as basically handholds to go down the mountain, and they have people toss the weapons down to them as they go through, and then gladiators just ambush them while they were sleeping at night, and that's how he beat his first praetor legionary, and I'll get the names of the other, but between this season and season 3, he takes on 7 other praetors and kills them all. So. I think I mentioned this in one of the other episodes where it's, they talk about how it's they're not just going to send a praetor of Rome, they're going to send, the legions. They don't send the legions until Spartacus has been out in the countryside for about a year and a half. Spartacus gives the Romans a merry chase before they finally take him seriously. So,
so now,
history
are you going to answer Matt's question and share your thoughts on the season?
It was good. Wanted to give history. Yeah, it was good. Next question. Go on.
All right, Steve, what are your thoughts?
This season is great. I went into the season thinking, it's probably not as good as the high points of season 1, and I don't know. This season, I've come around on it. Maybe it's just the finale is super awesome. Maybe it's because this season is all about, or at least not all about, but partially about the ascension of Ashur. For whatever reason, this season really clicked with me with the way I don't feel like it did the previous times I've watched this season. It is great. The season finale is incredible. The immediate episode before is one of my favorites in the series, when the heroes get a chance to, just be fucking happy for a little bit. I love it. I love every part of this.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a great season. This is probably my favorite finale of any of the seasons. I think it's so incredible, and it's just characters that you love just dying every other scene. All these people you've spent, 2.5 seasons technically with, just dropping dead, and it's just kind of it just hits you. It's oh my god, I'm not gonna see Xena anymore. I'm not gonna see Alithia. There's gonna be another season. We're not gonna see any of these characters. What the fuck are we gonna follow next season? So it's kind of bittersweet. On one hand, it's great narratively to see all these individual characters that you've built so much time and love for over however many hours of content you've watched all bite it basically at the same time, and then it's geez, they're such great characters and now they're all gone. They're all gone. The Oenomaus thing is just even correct me if I'm wrong, Ronan, but wasn't he the first of Spartacus's general kind of type guys to actually die? Historically, I think he was the first. And so
he dies some point around this battle. It's not known if he died fighting Glaber, but it's some point around this. But yeah, he was like, yeah, it was a Celt named Onimus, Ganikai, and Crixus. Those were his generals.
Yeah. So
and Agron, where's Agron? Agron is awesome.
Agron wasn't real historically, but he is in your headcanon, so that's okay.
Yeah. The world we live in, that makes it accurate. That makes it a fact now, Steve. You saw it on a meme.
Great season. Do I like it more than the first season? I don't think. I'm not going to go that far. I mean, I think it's like 1A, 1B sort of thing. I can't quite buy Liam McIntyre as Spartacus. That's the thing that kind of brings it back for me, because I'm like, Andy Whitfield is my Spartacus. And Liam McIntyre's fine, but can you imagine what the season would have been like with Andy Whitfield as Spartacus in it? I don't even think, we'd be thinking, okay, this is top tier television all time sort of thing. So, but still, great. Absolutely fucking love it. Can't wait to see what happens in War of the Damned, season 3.
Season 3,
the final season.
Yeah, based on my memory, because I rewatched the prequel season 1 and season 2. Like, I can't say I rewatch it all the time, but I've rewatched those seasons. I think I might have only gone through season 3 like maybe twice in the whole, like, in the entirety since it came out. I watched it once, and then I think I rewatched it again. So that's the one where my memories are the most fuzzy on if it's good or not. Memory serves me correct. It doesn't hold up to the other 3 seasons, but we'll see. We'll see. I've got enough fuzziness there.
We could talk about predictions of what our memories are. My memories of season 3 were, it felt really, really rushed, and they try to, of course, they introduce like Julius Caesar as a young guy and stuff in this. You have like those big, famous historical names, but I felt like there was not enough time. Like, even in the first season of Spartacus, you got 13 episodes. I mean, you got a full 3 more hour-long episodes to sort of live with some of these characters. And my recollection of season 3 is it just went so fucking fast that it didn't have time to breathe. It was like, oh, this is our final season. We got to cram everything into it as quickly as possible. But maybe I will be pleasantly surprised. I still liked it. What are your thoughts on season 3? What do you remember, Steve?
There's a Power Ranger in it, so it's awesome.
Is there?
Yep. I will be sure to hit you with the Power Ranger facts starting next season.
I fucking folded
look forward to that. Yeah, like I think one of the things that works well, like it's already kind of critiquing season 3, like without. I recall, like I think the major thing that works against it is the fact that, like, by this, like, you've had like 2 seasons to set up like the hatred between like Glaber and Spartacus, and like, okay, and then the next season, like, we know historically it's Marcus Crassus, and they've kind of set him up in passing, but not enough to like set him up as like the central main villain.
They name drop him a couple times. He's the richest man in Rome, sort of thing.
Yeah. And, like, I know Caesar was 100% alive at this point, but I don't think historically, like, he fought in the Spartacus Revolution.
There's no actual evidence that he was involved in it at all. And what's, I think another thing that hampers season 3 is, even with, if you go season 1, and then you go to Gods of the Arena, and then you go to, season 2, there was sort of like always a through line of bad, villainy, awesome characters. So whether it was Ashur going through, whether it was Lucretia, Alithia, like all these characters were in the majority of that stuff. And so even like with Badiatus, right, he turns out to be kind of he's a bad guy. When he bites it, doesn't matter. We still have Xena to look forward to. We still have Alithia. We still have Ashur. They wiped the slate clean at the end of this. There is no, like, really, even you, like, Steve, you like Glaber a lot. Glaber turned out to be a pretty cool villain. I wouldn't put him on the level of, like, Ashur and all those, but he was a cool villain. He's gone. And so you're like, they're going to introduce these new villains, but we've had no time to even like get to know like, oh, why are these villains cool? Why should we care about these villains? Season 3, in my recollection, just becomes more about, Spartacus and Crixus, and they are sort of like the decaying of their friendship in a way, in which it's like, fuck this, I'm gonna go off and do my own thing, and it becomes more about the gladiators at that point than it does like the villains.
I mean, that's one way to do it.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, all this is speculation since I haven't watched season 3 in like probably 7 or 8 years. So all this is just speculation in my mind.
I remember liking season 3, like something that I don't remember, and that I hope that comes up in season 3, and maybe it'll jog my memory. Like, does Spartacus ever acknowledge that he has a baby out there somewhere? Or he thinks that he should have, like, surely eventually, like, he probably learned that Alithia is dead. But I can't recall, like, does that ever come up in Season 3, the fact that he is now a dad, or should have been?
I don't think so. And I don't think he really cares, honestly. Which seems weird, because, I mean, he just let Alithia go. He's like, yeah, every time you look at that baby, you're going to be looking back at me. He gives no fucks about. I mean, he never seems broken up by the fact that his kid is out there somewhere.
Oh, it feels like there should be an acknowledgement, but I don't think it ever comes. And I'll be on the lookout for it, but I also won't be upset if it doesn't happen. But I think that's it. Like, I'm ready for season 3. I like season 3. Not as good as it's probably the weakest season, but I'm still here for it. And now I am just going to wait to go all in blind on the next hand, baby. We doing it.
Oh shit. We all have quite a bit of money too.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Stakes.
How did you get 103,000 chips?
I'm fucking good at pokering, some bitch.
Oh my god.
Not when we talk about Spartacus, you're not.
Clearly
he is. I pulled it
is.
together this time.
Clearly he is. All right.
I won 100,000 in this game the other night too.
Alright, well, yes, Matt's already folded, so I'm just gonna fold this hand. I haven't even looked at it. Fold it. Fuck it. Fuck it. I don't want to know what it is. Ace
So, ladies
five.
and gentlemen, it
Ace
is
five.
actually, at the time of this recording, it is August 25th of 2023. We're not actually going to get to recording Season 3 until late October. Any bets that we're going to place that Ronan's going to have his shit together at that time, or when I get back from California, it's still going to be, I can't do it tonight, guys. Sorry. Going to be really, really late.
Yeah. What's the over/under on Ronan continuing to throw a wrench in our plans?
My shit's always been together. It's you guys who suck.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
All right,
it is.
come on, guys. You're like you people playing this game are not important right now. Finish this hand. Okay. All right.
Problematic.
Going
Steve.
all in.
God.
I don't like this character design. Look at him. He's a douchebag.
All right. I have
For Onimeus.
I have the most at the table. So even if you guys win, I will still come out like 20 grand ahead.
Going all in for Onimeus. Rest in peace. Here it is. Boom.
All right. Come on. We can't be the only ones.
Come on, lady. You know you want to do it.
Don't be afraid to be a part of the fucking mythology. Do it.
And if you don't want to do it, you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on. You
Come
can do it.
You want in on this? You want in on this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Oh my goodness.
Come on.
Aww.
Yeah, Ronan's in. Oh, that guy's
Look at
holding.
this.
Oh, I
Look at
told
this.
you he was a douchebag. I
Hey,
told
There's
you.
so much money in the pot right now.
9-5. Oh, that's
Steve
awful.
got something bad. What do I got?
Oh God!
hey.
I need fives. I need five. Fives are the only things that can help me right now.
Oh, there's two kings. She's got two kings.
Oh no!
Oh, shit.
She got
She got three of a kind.
Oh,
We're fucked.
Oh.
I can't win.
No!
What a stupid idea this was.
it's always stupid. It always is.
Everything hurts. Everything hurts.
Huh?
And suddenly
Wait a
we
minute,
were at the
wait.
highest of highs, and
Wait a
now the
minute.
lowest lows.
I have
still got 60,000
I have 76,000 chips. How did I win that many chips? I had 30 when I
Because
started.
she only bet like 20,000, so she can only win a bet that matches her bet. So next
Oh,
to
so I
her,
took
you
most
were the
of
second
yours.
winner.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I took most of your chips. Good. Good.
I still have 60,000, so I'm good. Anyways, that's it, everyone.
Ronan
we'll be
busted
back.
out.
Look at him
Of course
pout.
he did.
Look at him fucking pout.
Look how sad he looks.
We'll be back in a couple of months. You won't notice a gap, but hey, get ready for season 3. It's fucking coming.